You'll have entertainments, you'll have thought-provoking talks, you'll have our fantastic MC, you'll have music, and tonight, of course, we want to celebrate Black history, because it's important for us to celebrate Black history. And I actually think, contrary to what most people think, I think, that having a month is really important. Having a Black History Month, because I think it really puts it on the spot. That doesn't mean that I don't think that Black history shouldn't be taught throughout the year, because it absolutely has to be taught throughout the year. Black history, as we all know, is human history. And we must make sure that all the achievements of our ancestors, our forefathers, are brought onto the table and made sure that they're mainstreamed into the story, not just of Britain, because it's a very important story that we've played in Britain, but a story about the world history as well. So I do think it's very important for us to tell our story. And tonight I want to say that our story, particularly of struggle, is going to continue. We have to continue to struggle for our rights in this country and for the rights of our brothers and sisters in other parts of the world who were previously under the colonial rule of this country and other European countries as well. And we know that being here, we've got a right to be here, but being here isn't easy. We know that that's the case. And we saw during the summer that there are people who are prepared to take to the streets to undermine our position as Black people in this country. Yes, of course, they're doing it under all sorts of different banners and all sorts of different rhetoric that they're saying at this stage. But we have to put them back firmly in their box, because we know that they're a minority, and we have to appeal and encourage and get the majority to be alongside us in battling the likes of the far right and the role that they can. The far right, by the way, isn't just the hooligans on the street, it's the hooligans in Parliament as well. You know, those 4 or 5 that got elected, they're a part of that. But I also want to say, and this is, we do need to collaborate and get together. But we also have to make sure that we fight for what's right and fight for the resources that we need to make sure that we have a fairer society in this country. Unfortunately, we've seen definitely over the last 14 years with austerity, we've seen how our people have had things taken away from them, whether it be benefits, whether it be housing, whether it be public services. Camden, for example, used to run one of the best police services in the whole country. It doesn't run it anymore. It pays somebody else to do a job for it that wasn't anything like the job that Camden used to do itself. So we have to fight for those resources, because if we don't fight for those resources, for the services that we need, then we may find that we're fighting amongst each other, and those people on the far right could be the ones that end up gaining more support. So we've got to battle that. We've got to appeal to our politicians that they have to be a part of that fight as well. If they're not part of that fight, then I think we will have to look for different politicians to lead that fight as well. So I think it's really, really important that we try our best, not just to celebrate, but to be ready for that struggle that needs to take place absolutely as well. And I know Liz Wheatley, the Camden Unison Branch Secretary, has got something particular to say on that when she comes and speaks. But we put this event on every year, and it's a joint event. It's an event that we lead as Camden Black Workers Group, that Judy, our fantastic coordinator of this event, leads. Where's Judy Fredericks? Stand up, Judy Fredericks. Don't hide. There she is. Don't walk out the door. But anyway, Every year I have to say this, Judy puts on an absolutely fantastic event. And this year will be no exception. This year will be no exception.
My last one.
This year will be... No, go away. So, she always puts on an excellent... No, go away. You've had your moment in the sun. Go away. So, so we have got a fantastic event for you tonight, but we are also honoured to have sponsorship from the council as well for this event. You know, we put it on, we run it, they let us put it on, they let us run it, but they do give us some money towards it as well. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask Eddie Hansen, who's the Deputy Mayor, to come forward and address our event. The Mayor actually is coming along a little bit later, I understand, but Ed.
Thank you, Hugo. I'm really, really pleased to be here this evening. I recall Hugo 10 years ago. He's a really fighter, because 10 years ago we were out down in Kilburn, West Hampstead, fighting together to save a local nursery. That time I was much, much younger than this. And I said to Hugo, he's not aging. This evening I must say I'm really, really happy that there's a title that says Reclaiming Our Narrative. Without going further, I must say that I'm quite humble to be the first deputy mayor from an African descent here in Camden. Which means next year, automatically, I will become the mayor. So, event like this to celebrate our ancestors, to celebrate who have come before us, who have paved way for us, and all those who are fighting injustice, equality, and to make things fairer for everybody. I just want to say thank you to the organizers for putting up this event, and thank you to all those who've made the effort to get their ticket to be here this evening as well. And thank you for giving me this opportunity as well to be in front of all of you guys this evening. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening. Enjoy yourself.
And thank you very much for that. The other sponsors that we have for our event this evening, and actually without these particular sponsors, we probably wouldn't have the group and the activities that we have, because Camden Unison, and Liz is going to address us in a moment, but Camden Unison was formed from two unions that were involved in Camden Council, and that's Camden Nalgo and Camden Newpie. And I'm going to probably say something that probably, well, I can see some of you will know what I'm talking about, but there'll be others here we go, what the hell is he talking about? But back in the day, when Camden Black Workers Group was formed, it was formed by members of Camden Nalgo and Camden Newpie, predominantly Camden Newpie, it has to be, and Nalgo, it has to be said, but of the two unions, because back in the day, every worker that worked for Camden Council had to be a member of one of those two unions. It was a closed shop. And boy, I wish we could go back to those days again now. But it was a closed shop, and those two unions collaborated to make sure that the Camden Black Workers Group was established. And so, with that long tradition of support from the trade union, we've been able to continue, and as many of you know, a couple of years ago we celebrated our 40th anniversary. But we've been able to continue through that time. So I'd like to welcome Liz Wheatley, who's the current branch secretary of Camden Unison, to say a few words for us.
Thanks, Hugo, and apologies first of all because I started to feel a bit under the weather last night, and then today I was speaking at a trade union conference about Palestine and then on the London rally. So now I'm full of cold and I may not last the night, which is a shame because it will be a good night. It's always one of the best nights out that they have anywhere in Camden, to be honest. But this year there is one main thing that I want to talk about, because we do face a specific challenge, don't we, which is how can we stop the growth of the far right and of Nazis in society. Because I'm sure we were all horrified this summer when we saw the racist attacks on hotels where asylum seekers were being housed and on mosques up and down the country. But those attacks didn't come out of nowhere, actually. For the last few years, we've had how many politicians standing behind lecterns with 3 words on them, the 3 words of stop the boats. This was a conscious effort by the Tories to try and make us blame asylum seekers and refugees for austerity, for the cost of living crisis, to make us scapegoat them rather than blame the Tories and the bosses who were the real cause of it. And that was what was behind their racist Rwanda deportation scheme as well. And as a trade union, actually, we're about unity, about looking at how we can resist together, about saying it's the people who run society who've caused austerity and made us poorer whilst they get richer. And that's why Camden Unison has always been proud to say that refugees and asylum seekers, whether they're fleeing war, poverty, the climate emergency, or simply looking for a better, safer life, are welcome here. They're welcome in our communities, they're welcome in our workplaces, and they're welcome in our trade union. But the politicians have created another problem as well, and that's the growth of the far right and Nazis. It's not just happening here. We're seeing it in Italy, France, Austria, Germany, and where they've grown, and including in their parliaments. Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, is a Nazi. She's in a party that proudly says it's like Mussolini's party, which is why it was so wrong for Keir Starmer to meet her and specifically discuss stopping migration. And here we've got 2 things going on, and they're related, like Hugo was saying, because it was great to see the back of the Tories in July. It was absolutely fantastic. But the vote for Reform UK, for Nigel Farage's party, was really worrying. And that vote gave the confidence to Tommy Robinson to march through central London at the end of July with 15,000 supporters and hold a rally of racism and Islamophobia. And I mentioned I was at a conference about Palestine and on a rally about Palestine earlier. There is no mistake, there is a link between fighting racism and standing for justice with the Palestinians, because Tommy Robinson stood in Trafalgar Square with his 15,000 racists, and he said, look around you, not a single Palestinian flag, this is the London we want to see. And I have to say, it is not the London we want to see. We want to see a London that is diverse, multicultural, that the Palestinian flag can fly in, where people will stand up for peace, equality and justice around the world. And I think it's no accident either that a few days later we saw those racist attacks up and down the country. What Tommy Robinson wants to do is build a street movement to complement reform in Parliament. He even told his supporters to vote for reform in the elections. But of course the week after was another story, wasn't it? We had a brilliant response when tens of thousands of people came out up and down the country to oppose the next planned racist attacks. And here in London, members of our branch went to both North Finchley and to Waltham Forest. And the Nazis and far right couldn't march or couldn't attack anything. It was a beautiful night, and I'm sure some of you were on it. And it marked a potential for us to build a turning point against the far right as well. But of course, one night, one demonstration doesn't do it. But demonstrations do matter, because this coming Saturday, they're back. Tommy Robinson is marching through central London again, and this time he reckons he will have 30 to 40,000 people marching with him. So we have to oppose him. If he goes unchallenged, it will be less safe for black people on the streets, there will be more scapegoating of refugees, there will be more division, and there will be more blaming of each other rather than the bosses and the racists. So on your table, there are leaflets. They're not there to be left at the end of the evening and cleaned up. They are there for you to take, to give to your friends and families and your workmates, because we will be marching next Saturday as well. We're meeting at 11:30 a.m. at Piccadilly, and we'll be bringing our trade union banners and our trade union members to say, stop Tommy Robinson, stop the far right. The Camden Unison banner and members will be there, and we want all of you to join us in the fight against fascism and racism and the fight for a better world. See you on Saturday.
Well, thanks very much for that, Liz, and I really appreciate the commitment to come in tonight, even though you're not in the best of health. So I hope that...
I've just wanted toilet roll.
There's no need to go that far. We really hope you get better soon because we need you, and we also need to get ourselves organised, and that's a really important. I do want to reinforce that message from Liz. You know, some of us will remember that we had those battles in the mid to late 1970s. Some also had to do the same battles in the 1990s as well. It hasn't gone away. We've got to continue those sorts of. We've got to continue marching on the streets to demand our place in this country. So thank you very much for that, Liz. And please do as she says. Take those leaflets home with you. The last thing I'm going to do before I hand up over to our excellent MC is Judy still here? Judy, can you please come to the front now, please? This time you're going to have to stand here for a little bit longer. Judy, come on. Judy has, well, let's say this, probably it was about just a bit over 10 years ago, wasn't it?
12 years now.
12 years ago, when we relaunched having a Black History Month. For some time, Camden, during the sort of like, I don't know, 2008 through to about 2012, Camden did away with its Black History Month, and we said about 12 years ago that we were going to restart it. We restarted the Black Workers Group, and we restarted the Black History Month because we said it was a really important event that we had to have. So that's about 12 years ago. And Judy volunteered to coordinate the first one, and then we volunteered her again for the second one, and volunteered her again for the third, and the rest is history. So she's been doing it for 12 years. Now, however, she did announce, we're not sure we're going to stick her to this, but she did announce she's not going to organise anymore. She's going to leave it to some younger people.
I did say younger.
Not that you're old, but she said that she wanted to pass the baton on. So tonight could be, and I say could be, her last one. So really to thank Judy for all she's done, we've just got a little token tonight of something that we've got for her. Sandra. And she most certainly will be missed. Do you want to say anything, Judy?
I don't even know what to say, but you know what? I've enjoyed doing it, and every year I'm resigning. And this year, unfortunately, I am resigning. But you know what? Look out for me, innit? Because, you know, this is my thing, so watch this space.
Thanks, Judy. And now I am going to hand over to Aline, who's going to be our MC for the evening, and you'll be glad to be shot of me, but I thought we had to have a little bit of a serious start, because it is a serious event.
Yes.
And it is a serious occasion, but as black people, with every serious thing there needs to be a party as well. So, Aline.
Thank you very much, Hugo. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, wait. Hugo Pierre, activist, socialist, trade unionist, campaigner North, South, West, and East. Brother, we see you. Round of applause, please, for Hugo.